That's right, instead of taking 3 months to release the next devlog video, it only took me about 4 weeks. These are still taking way too long to release, but I'm hoping to get the next ones out quicker. But the main thing I've been working on during this time is random mesh generation. This way the mesh is different every time you play. Now I could explain how I made this, but like every single game dev YouTuber has already made a video explaining it, so I'm just going to speedrun through it real quick. So we are basically using a Perlin noise function, which is a map of values which will slightly change from 0 to 1. So we applied some fancy code math function stuff to it to convert the 0 to 1 ranges to Y positions for the mesh. I also made it so that each of them is a chunk, and then I stitch all those chunks together. This allows for me to add level of detail to the meshes and do chunks so the game doesn't crash when playing the game. I then made the map bigger, then applied some coloring to it using a gradient, and boom, random mesh generation. This is a super basic explanation, but if you want a more in-depth explanation, you can check out the video in the top right corner. Okay, now that we have mesh generation, you know the cave system that I made in the last video that took me like 2 weeks to make? Well, I kind of have to scrap it. The main problem is that the caves currently just have one entry point. Now that the map is huge, I can't just have one entry point for the caves because it would take forever to find it. Later on, I'll probably add multiple entry points and just lots of smaller cave systems, but I can't be bothered to do that right now, but it is on my to-do list. Now the game right now is kind of dull because when you play it there is no music or sound effects, so I hit my boy up on Discord and he made some fire tracks for the game. They're playing right now. I also found some sound effects and added those to the game. Right now they just play when you hit something with your hands, but later on there'll be sound effects for taking damage, or dying, or mining. Now also for the game, there are currently just melee weapons, and I know some people like melee weapons, but I also need some weapons for my ranged people out there. So I quickly made a bow and arrow, and now you can hit enemies from afar. Although good luck hitting stuff from afar because it is stupid hard to aim. Now I also feel like the game is a bit too easy, so stealing an idea from Terraria, I made it so that certain items will require a workbench and or anvil to make. Later on, I might have it so you actually have to craft the item, like in Green Hell VR, but for now it's just like Terraria where you just have to be near it to craft it. I also got some complaints about how the build menu and crafting menu looked, so I completely remade them. The crafting menu now looks a lot better and shows whether you need a crafting table or anvil near you, and if you are near one to craft the item. I also remade the build menu so that it's a lot easier to find certain building materials, and I can also separate buildings by category. The only problem right now is it doesn't tell you how much materials a building takes, so you just have to kind of guess and hope that it doesn't take all your materials. Now to break up some of the big stuff, here's some of the small stuff that I added. The first one is an apple tree that when destroyed drops apples that can heal you. I also added some dynamite to the game, which does stupid amounts of damage, so just make sure you are in the blast range when it goes off. I also made a shield that when held will block a good amount of damage. Right now it's stupid overpowered because you can hold a shield and take barely any damage, but then still do 100% of your damage. So I'm probably going to have to nerf it so you can't just run around with a sword and shield and kill everyone and everything. Now also, in most Realtek fan games, you have a mod menu which gives the player access to a whole bunch of cheats/hacks they can use. Now these are good by introducing to something even better, the developer menu. This menu doesn't do a lot of the flashy stuff, but does a lot more internal stuff. You can damage yourself, heal yourself, spawn items, become invincible, super speed, spawn building materials, etc. So yes, you don't get access to stuff like platforms, but you can spawn the best gear of the game just by clicking a button. It also works in the editor, which is super nice for testing purposes. Also, as you probably saw in the thumbnail, there is now a new logo for Run Wild. Now the old one sucked. Like, what even is this? It looks like some bubbles coming out of a pickaxe. Like, this looks like crap. So, I spent a day, and I was just cooking logo after logo. As you can tell, the first few logos looked decent, but they were still bad. But for the last few iterations, I was cooking. And I just kept on cooking and cooking until finally, after like 10 iterations, we landed on this. Now, not to brag, but this is one of the best looking logos I have ever made and probably top 50 for best looking logos I've ever seen. But now I have this logo, and you better believe I'm going to plaster this on every image, video, short, etc. relating to the game. But let me know what you think of the logo in the comments. Also, like always, here's a small list of stuff I did that doesn't deserve its own segment of the video. Not a lot of stuff, but a lot of polishing and bug fixes. Now, I also just want to quickly add something here about Smash Run VR. If you guys like these segments, let me know and I'll keep including them, but if you don't like these, then this will probably be the last one. But anyways, Smash Run VR has hit $10,000 in revenue and is at 175,000 downloads. This is actually crazy. I think now that I hit $10,000, I can now call myself an official game developer, even if I'm not a good one. But actually, thank you guys so much for the support. This really means a lot, and like I've said before, I can't thank you guys enough. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. The next one hopefully should take like 2 weeks, but my upload schedule is worse than Danny, so you never know. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, if you could like and subscribe, it would really mean a lot and help the channel out. Also, make sure to comment your ideas for Run Wild, as I'll most likely add it. Thanks for watching and have a great day.